Hello everybody, it is CoachFury here and welcome back to the channel. We are here today again to talk a little bit about the CBGM, the online college basketball general manager league that I am in, that I have joined over on GM Games, using Draft Day Sports College Basketball 21. And well, as you can probably see from the title, we are going to do a bit of a Norton candidate watch today. This is the awards that goes through the season in the game that looks at, you know, basically I compared it to sort of the, as you can see here, the Nate Smith Citizen Award Trophy, which I think it tends to look at a combination of players who have good grades and you know, a good college athletes, you know, will be good players, but also have that academic side as well. So we're going to just go in and we're going to look, because the email landed a couple of sims ago on the top 50, and well, today we're going to just talk about the top 10. I'm not going to dive into all of them, but it was interesting because I really didn't appreciate that there are a lot of really good players around in the CBGM who are also really good you know, college students as well. So in terms of the number one you know, projection for the person who's going to win this award, it is Jasper Taylor from Wisconsin. You can see here, I mean, I think we've talked about him maybe before on one of the previous shows that I've done looking at the Big Ten, but yeah, I mean, he's a phenomenal rebounder, okay defender, a good shot blocker, really good inside scorer. I mean, there's no surprise that he is probably going to declare this year. I'd be surprised if he carries on past his junior year. I mean, he's got bucket getter, paint dominator, clean up, and defender. So he's got everything, every attribute you kind of would want at the next level in the pro game. And also he has a 4.0 GPA, which is pretty good, to be honest. My only concern with him, really, if I'm talking about his actual attributes in terms of his basketball attributes, is that his court IQ and his athleticism is fairly low, and his ball handling and drawing fouls is fairly low. Which means that for me, as I've said before, he's the type of player, if he's going to be playing in the post in the next level, he's going to need to be able to draw fouls better. He needs to have a better understanding of the game around him. And to be honest with you, at 6'7", the fact he doesn't have an outside shot means that, to be honest, I can't see him being a lottery pick if he does declare. I could see him going late first in second round, to be honest. But, you know, a 4.0 GPA, he might not declare, he might carry on and want to carry on his studies. Who knows? So number 2 on the list, we have Damon Brown from Kentucky. Again, another sort of forward player. He's got the exact same in terms of player types. Not quite as good a rebounder, probably a slightly better inside scorer. His passing ability is phenomenal for a centre, really. His discipline and court IQ again let him down. So I personally could see this guy staying his full 4 years. He's got a 3.5 GPA, so you know, he's showing that he's also a good academic person as well as an athlete here. Drawing fouls are slightly better though. I don't think he would declare. I don't know whether he would actually get drafted, to be honest with you. He's got the height to play at the next level, but he might be one of these, if I was thinking about it now, good college player, probably not a great pro player. I could see him being possibly a late second round pick, maybe end up in the G League, to be honest with you, once he's done 4 years. But that's whether he carries on at pro level. Number 3, we have Dave Brown from Gonzaga, who again is another front court player. Again, his height is going to be an issue at the next level. His GPA is actually surprisingly lower than others, so I don't know whether he'll actually win the Norton Award because his GPA is a little bit lower. His discipline and court IQ is pretty terrible. He actually has a better shooting game though, so when I look at him in terms of the next level, I could certainly see him probably being a first round pick. His defensive ability is not great, but his versatility is going to be really useful. Ball handling is a little bit of an issue though for him. He has obviously the bucket getter, defender, and clean up as well because he's got good rebounding ability. If I had to guess, I could probably see him declaring because he has some of the attributes you'd want in the pro game at that level. Good athleticism as well, but I don't see him necessarily winning the Norton Award, and I was honestly quite surprised to see him number 3 on the list. Dionzio Louis is probably the first backcourt player that we've seen on the Norton Award. He has a 3.6 GPA, so he's a good scholar as well as a good player. He is an interesting type of prospect. He's a very, very good scorer, but he's not the most efficient if I probably had to guess at it. He is a bucket getter and a defender in terms of his player types. Great ceiling ability. He's a little bit undersized though for the next level, to be perfectly honest with you. So I could probably see him Could I see him? I mean, he's a senior, so he's probably going to declare for the draft. I honestly would project him late first round, second round pick. Possibly he's defensive. He's going to probably be a defensive specialist at the next level. Doesn't quite have the shooting ability for the next level in terms of probably being, if he was a really good outside scorer, he might well be a top 20 pick, but I can't see that now. He's only going to be able to play shooting guard. He's going to be undersized there. So I think his next level prospects are pretty slim. But in terms of the Norton Award, he's got a great shout, I think, because I think at this level he's going to be a phenomenal player, especially for Seton Hall, where I imagine he's probably one of their better players. And his GPA is good enough, so I could certainly see him competing for the Norton Award. So we move on to Gary Oliver, who is a good-sized forward, actually. Has a bit of an inside-outside game, pretty good rebounder. You can see here, I'm surprised he has the playmaker ability, but it's probably because of his passing and not his ball handling. That ball handling is really going to let him down at the next level, and that court IQ. Again, probably a guy I can't see necessarily declaring. I think he'd be a second round pick, to be perfectly honest with you, at the next level. But, you know, at this level, he's a good player. Can do a bit of both. He can play a couple of different positions. I would be tempted to play him from anywhere from small forward to probably centre, depending on matchup. His GPA is 3.9, so he's obviously a good candidate for the Norton Award, in my opinion. I think he's going to put up some good numbers in Texas as well, which is going to help him in terms of trying to win that award. And yeah, I think he's going to be good at this level. I don't necessarily think he's going to be good at the next level, but you know, we're talking about the Norton Award really here. So we move on to number 6, KEATON Williams, who is a pretty good player, if I'm honest with you. Court IQ again is an issue, which I've noticed for some of these top players. Court IQ is going to be a struggle for them at the next level, definitely. At this level, they might not necessarily get called out in terms of understanding the play structure and things at this point. He's a bucket getter, a sharpshooter, a defender, and a cleanup specialist. And you know, his handling and passing is pretty good. He's a bit undersized at 6'1", though, as a the next level in terms of a guard. Phenomenal rebounding ability and shot blocking ability for someone who's 6'1". So I'm going to be very excited to see how that works for him this year in Iowa. But 3.5 GPA, he has I would say he has an outside chance at the award. I think he'll put up good numbers in terms of his college career. I'm not sure whether if that GPA falls any further, I probably wouldn't have him down as winning the Norton Award. But you know, he might pick up that GPA and it might get closer to that 4.0 to be close with winning this. But yeah, in terms of his pro prospects, he's a first round pick, if I'm honest. That court IQ might be a slight issue for him, as I said, but he's got everything else you'd want in a guard. He's a bit undersized, so he's probably going to be a late first round pick, if I'm honest. But yeah, he's a senior, so he's almost certainly going to declare this year as well. So on to number 7, Dennis SHYATT, who is a 6'8" forward. In terms of his abilities, a bucket getter and defender, 3.1 GPA, which I think honestly, I would say anyone sort of below 3.5 GPA probably isn't going to win the Norton Award. But at this level, I don't think he's as good as some of the other players in consideration for this award. So I can't see him winning it. I know he's a senior. He's obviously going to declare. I see him being probably a low second round pick. His shooting is not good enough for the next level, despite his scoring ability. Ball handling is atrocious. He doesn't draw fouls. He's not really the world's greatest sort of player. He's not going to be able to start at the next level. He might be a guy who could probably give you 8 to 10 minutes of some sort of play in there and not necessarily lose too much with that. But I get the sense that his shooting numbers might let him down, to be honest with you. So in terms of the Norton Award, probably not going to win it in my opinion. But you know, in terms of college career, I'm sure he'll be perfectly a good player for the Gators. Pro career is a bit questionable in my opinion. On to number 8, we have FLETCHER from Providence, who is a 6'6" forward. GPA is 2.6. Again, I don't think he's going to win the Norton Award with that GPA, to be honest. He's a really, really good defender, though, like phenomenally good defender. He's got the height to play at forward position. He can probably play at the power forward as well in college. Court IQ again is a letdown, and ball handling is a letdown. But he is a good outside scorer. He could probably be a very good stretch four in college level. At the next level, I think he has some of the attributes probably to be a borderline okay rotation player. he's a weird mix of a player because he's a really good defender and really good shot blocking ability. He's probably going to be a defensive 3-and-D player at the next level, but you don't want him handling that ball, certainly. So he needs to probably develop the outside game slightly bit better over the next year or so. Probably a player I can't see declaring yet. I think he needs a bit more development time in college, looking at some of his stats here. And for the Norton Award, I honestly don't see FLETCHER winning it. Number 9, we have Jim Davis, who looks like a pretty good player. Very ill-disciplined centre, but a 4.0 GPA. So, in my opinion, he's going to be a very good candidate for the Norton Award. At Pittsburgh, he's probably going to put up some really good numbers as well. He is a bucket-getter defender, and obviously he has the clean-up player type as well. He can steal the ball, block the ball pretty well. Discipline's going to be a question. But at the next level, he's got a pretty good range of ability because he can make an outside shot, which is good for a centre. Realistically, at the next level, he is going to probably be a power forward. And if I'm looking at that, I think he's more than capable of being a power forward. He's probably going to be one of those guys, again, because of the discipline and court IQ. He's probably going to be a late first round pick. I think he would declare, though, because he has some of the attributes that pro teams will want, which is that crazy good defensive ability. He can rebound the ball. He's going to be sort of like that guy who comes off the bench and just as a bit of a hustle type player, if I'm honest, and make a couple of shots probably. In terms of the Norton Award, as I said, I think he's a great candidate. He's going to put up great numbers at Pittsburgh. I'm surprised he's only 9th in terms of the candidates here. And then we're going to finish off with number 10 and just do our top 10 for this video. We've got Andre Saunders, who is over at Memphis. He's 2.7 GPA, which to me, in my opinion, rules him out of the Norton Award. He needs to get that up to at least 3.5 if he has a chance. He is a very interesting senior though, because he's 6'8" forward. He's actually probably one of the better forward seniors that we've got on the Norton Award. Ball handling is okay-ish. I mean, it's 30, so you don't want him playing in the back court, but he can play in the front court. He's going to play probably between the small forward and power forward position because he has a good inside shot. His outside shot's okay. His rebounding is great. Stealing, blocking's good. Discipline's a little bit low for my liking, but his court IQ should save him there. Which to me, I think he may well go in if I was thinking about draft. I think he'll go within that sort of 15 to 25 range in the first round. I would certainly pick him up in that stage because he's got the height and the weight ability. Yes, okay, his discipline's going to let him down, so he's not going to play many minutes for you, but he probably could be a borderline 6-man for someone. Needs to get outside shot working a little bit better though, if I'm honest. If he gets that up to a decent rating as he develops, he could be a really decent forward for the pro game. In terms of the Norton Award though, I don't see him winning it. So that brings us to the top 10 for this episode. What do you guys think? Do you think there's anyone else outside the top 10 that we should be considering for this Norton candidate watch? We'll obviously come back through the season probably and do some more episodes to follow up how guys are doing, because I imagine the top 10 will fluctuate as we go over time. But that just gives you a quick snapshot of who is in the top 10 initially for this. Great to hear your thoughts as always. Drop them on Discord or drop them on the channel here. And we'll see who wins it at the end of the season.